All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Market's definitely a little slow today. There's just not that much that I really like, to be honest. I'm just not really feeling it today. There's just not that much going on. Doesn't look that good. Um, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. A lot of stuff isn't tradable on TEFs, which I'm kind of bummed out about. But I'll be all right. But yeah, you can see BHC looks decent, but it's not tradable. Uh, BRZU looks decent, but it's not tradable. Yeah, there's a few other ones that looked good. What was it? FOMX looks good, but it's not tradable either. And so I don't know, man. A lot of stuff isn't tradable today. Kind of sucks. I mean, let me know if you see anything else. So since those aren't tradable, I think I'm gonna stick to NOG. Looks okay. Um, TLRY. I would have to use tiny sizing since that stock's over 100. POC is tradable, so that's good. The cannabis stock CRON CGC, although I don't really like those that much. GERN for maybe a fade from yesterday. RENN for maybe a second day fade. IZEA. And so there's a few that I'm watching, but it's still, still a little slow in the market today. And it's Wednesday. I mean, that's bound to happen. That's basically what's going to happen. So, all right, all right. So, also, my internet's acting a little bit funny. Good morning, Tradester. Let me catch up with the chat. What's up, Missouri? Good morning, Abu. Hey, man, Abu. Nice to have you here, man. Nice to have you here, man. Welcome, brother. Jordan. Good morning, Tiny. Good morning, D Champion. Good morning, Manny. Good morning, KC Mac. Good morning, Live Gains. Good morning. What's up, Arian's World? Good morning, man. Yeah, so let me know if you guys see anything that looks good. Yo, what's up, Netron? Good morning, man. Yeah, so let me know if you guys see anything that looks good that is possibly tradable on TEFs. Just drinking my coffee, trying to wake up a little bit, but yeah, a little slow day here. Um, Nothing really looks that good. So when days like today happen, I kind of look for second day faders, right? And what I do is I look for overextended stocks, as always. But specifically today, I'm looking at RENN. If you look at RENN from yesterday, this thing is still up. It's still up from $1.30s a few days ago, and yesterday was at $1.38, and so it's still up significantly. Preferably, I'd like to see a drop under this 188 level for maybe a short down to 150 to fill some of this gap. And so that's what I'm watching with RENN. Kind of the same thing with IZEA, although I don't like it as much just because it did wash out yesterday. But it's at 190. I like it down to 150, maybe 160. And so we'll watch that one as well. Something interesting. I mean, I tried to just to test it out. I tried to type in some of these things to see if it would actually let me trade it. So, for instance, if you look at FOMX here, and if I try to short it, it puts the pending order out there. So I'm curious to see if it'll actually let me short it. That would be great if it did. Doubtful that it will, though. It probably will stop me once the market opens, but it's worth a shot here to see if it'll let me trade those, but it's unlikely. So, yep, I'm at 2 days green, James. 2 green days, Monday and yesterday were both green days, so haven't had a losing day yet this week, brother. Good morning, James. What's up, man? What's up, Eddie? Good morning. Yeah, man. It's my morning routine, Abu. Yeah, man. Such a slow day, Arians Road, for sure, man. Super slow today. Kind of bummed out about it. I've been trying to use bigger sizing, but we'll see how today goes. Like I said, I'm gonna look for some second day faders. Like RENN is one I'm really watching. Really wish I could trade BHC or FOMX, but none of those are tradable, and so I'm just gonna have to try to find something here. Looking at GERN2. GERN's pretty extended. It's almost at 6 now. The high of the last year is at 668, and so it's kind of close to there. I'll keep an eye on that one too. We'll see if we get some decent options today. Yeah, for sure. That's probably what it is, Garrett. The whole East Coast is under hurricane watch, so yeah, for sure. Nice, Arian. Or nice, James. Good work, brother. 350, man. That's good. Nice. FDA release tomorrow at 10 Eastern Time, James, on ATOS. I'll watch that one for sure then. Oh, man. So yeah, I watch a few of these. Like I said, I'm bummed out. A lot of these aren't tradable. LPI doesn't look that bad. I'm just hoping I can trade it. A lot of these have small ranges too. Okay, at least I can trade LPI. That's a little bit better, but it's still very slow day. What's up, 7? VTL or a small jump on RHE. Let's look VTL. This looks almost guaranteed to be a split, a reverse split, or maybe a split of some sort. I'll look up VTL, but VTL looks like a split or something. I doubt it's I doubt it's a legit gap down like that. I mean, it's gapping down, but I think it's most likely a split. Let's look it up. Okay, so maybe not, man. Maybe not. Maybe this one is So I'm using SnapTrade. It does say that Vital Therapy shares are down 86% after the biotech company said it will scrap the treatment for liver failure. It also said the top line results for their VTL308 failed to achieve the primary and secondary endpoints of improvement in survival. So it is not a split of any sort. It's just bad results, bad news, terrible news here. And so yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Interesting here to see where that goes. I think it's ultimately going to fail and be delisted eventually, but man, it's down to 75 cents. So crazy move here. So yeah, so let's look at some of the news on some of these. Let's see. What's up, Original? What's up, brother? Hey, appreciate it, James. AGRX. Let's look it up. But yeah, that's a crazy drop for it not being a split. When I see stocks like this, I just assume they're splits, just because it's very rare a stock just gives up this much gain. Goes from $6.30 all the way down to 75 cents overnight, and so that's pretty rough for anybody holding that thing. AGRX doesn't look bad. It's almost guaranteed not to be tradable for me though. Days like today, guys, it's just kind of a account preservation day. The market's really slow. It's Wednesday. It's hump day, and a lot of people are, probably taking the day off because of the hurricane on the East Coast. So, days like today are just super slow. Gotta protect your account. That's what ultimately I'm looking to do. And so we'll see, but yeah, the last 2 days have been profitable. That's, in the last 10 trading days, I've had one losing day. And, one thing I did use 400 shares yesterday, although the gain was pretty small because the one I did use 400 shares was a break-even trade, and then I had another profitable trade. And so I ended the day green yesterday, but yeah, I actually used 400 shares in a position, which is what I'm trying to scale up, considering how well I've been doing in my accuracy rate in the last few months. I just want to make some larger gains out of the market, take some bigger gains. PACB is probably one of my main watches. If you look at PACB here, if I'm looking at it right now, the ones I'm probably going to watch today are these four, which are TLRY, Big Gap Up, LPI, RENN, and PACB. I can trade all of these. These are all tradable, and so these are ones that I'm looking at now to see if I can, find some good short opportunities as always. So let's see. So real quick, today's news is brought to you by SnapTrade. That's snaptrade.us. If you haven't used SnapTrade, it's a really awesome encompassing website that allows you to do a lot of different stuff, to take advantage of. They have a watch list building tool, and I've been sharing my watch list with a decent amount of traders each morning. The list is slowly growing, and so if you want my watch list shared with you a little bit earlier in the market day, just sign up to SnapTrade and then message me or email me your SnapTrade username or email. I'll add you to this list and share my watch list with you each morning. For those that are on the list, I know I do have some people are confused about how it works. So to see my watch list each morning, you can log into SnapTrade. I think it will notify you via email when I add a new stock to my list. But if you just want to see it, all you have to do is go to SnapTrade, and you can see I have a few people, like I'm watching Ben's swing trading list, and then there's a few other people. And so you would just find my morning watch and then click that, and then it'll show you my list with all the indicators. But yeah, so SnapTrade also recently updated their news section, and so their news is way more up to date. And so let's look up the news on my watch list today. I'll go ahead and post my watch list in the chat as well, so just give me a second, I'll do that. Yeah, so hold on one second. Might have to add a few here. Let's see, what else is there? There is LCI. There it is. LPI. And then we have PACB, which looks decent. RENN. Yeah, so this is my watch list thus far today. Ears is another one to watch. Okay, for sure, I'll watch that one too. So let's look up the news on some of these today. Let's see. Let me pull up SnapTrade. All right. So the first one let's look up is FOMX. Let's see what's going on with it. Okay, so I'm not seeing any news on FOMX that is out. Let's see, it had second quarter earnings on the 8th. And let's go by the date. Okay, so no, it has some. All right, so FOMX, it looks like they met their main goals in the late stage trial, and the shares are up because of that. So they met their acne drug goals for the late stage trials for this bio stock for FOMX, and it looks like they met their goals, and so shares are pushing up. That's FOMX. If you look at FOMX here, it's up a decent amount from 592 to 772. Unfortunately, it's not tradable for me, but it is up some, so maybe you can trade it and take advantage of it. The next one I'm looking at is, what was that? PACB, PAC B. So they announced a public offering of PACB, of common stock, and so it also dropped 10.6% yesterday, and so maybe that's enough to make it move. I think it's probably just rebounding some from dropping yesterday for PACB down at the bottom left here, so we'll see what happens with that one. The next one to look at is TLRY. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any new news for any of these cannabis stocks for TLRY or anything like that. If I'm missing something new on TLRY, let me know, but I don't see any recent news on this one. Moving on to there's a few other ones I'm watching, but none of the other ones really look that good here. Let's see what else is on my list. Maybe GIRD. Some of these are washing out. GIRD. Let's look at GIRD here. Maybe it's GERD. No. I thought it was GIRD. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Let me look. I'll find it. SLCA, gapping up some too. Gonna watch this one, SLCA. So let's look up SLCA. So it says John Rogers Aerial Fund to boost U.S. SILSA position 35%. So it sounds like they took a position in here. Let's look. Earnings came out last. So trying to figure out why this one's moving to SLCA. We'll have to come back to that one. But yeah, very slow, dull day, guys. So I'd be careful if I were you. It's just a really slow day. And so we got a few that I'm watching. I'm watching TLRY here, and really I'm watching this one to see. Let me go live on this. I'm watching this one to see if it washes out some after this big move. I'd prefer it to wait to wash. Not quite yet. To possibly get a washout at the open. And I just got to think about what kind of sizing I do want to take if I do jump in TLRY. There's a big push. So if I do jump in TLRY, I'm trying to think of a reasonable size to take. I think 10 shares, maybe 15 shares would be reasonable here. So for every, maybe not even that much, maybe like 5-10 shares would be reasonable here. It just depends. I think 5 or 10 shares would be reasonable. Maybe go for 10 on TLRY. But main goal is I'm looking at RENN, LPI, and PACB. Those are the 4 biggest ones that I'm watching. The rest of the market's kind of dull today. SSC starting to make a push here. I might add that one to my list. Let's see if SSC had any recent news come out. Yeah, TRXC is up some too. So yeah, we got a few options. You can see SSC starting to push here. Got up to 509, and this one, I mean, it may still be extended, and so I kind of like SSC now. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch SSC too. So yeah, these are probably my 4 biggest watches, and I still don't like these that much, but they're better than the other stuff going on in the market. I really like PAC-B and RENN probably the most, but we'll see what SSC can do here. Insurance says, John, don't forget your true P&L. It's not about how many green days. It is about how much you are making versus your losses. I can have $101 green days, but can lose all 100 in one trade. So yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, honestly, insurance is like, I'm actually looking at it in a different way. So like the way I'm kind of looking at it is that it doesn't matter. My net profit doesn't really matter to me at all. What really matters is my gross profit, right? And my gross profit relative to my losses, right? And I think I showed my P&L yesterday. Like my winners are bigger than my losers, and so that's the most important thing. And that means I'm using good risk to reward, since my winners are larger than my losers on average. And so that's something I'm actually happy with. And I'm looking at my gross profit just because at this point I'm still using like pretty small sizing. And so, my gross profit is going to more accurately reflect my net profit once the sizing gets up there, once the sizing starts to get larger and larger. And so at this point, I'm just really focused on getting into good setups, getting into good trades, and trying to keep my winners bigger than my losers, trying to get in good risk to reward trades and so forth. And so that's really what I'm worried about. My net profit, I mean, of course, I would like my net profit to be bigger. But the most important thing is just about getting into good trades, because truly, like, TradeNet and TEFs, it's just a way for me to learn. If I ever get up to over 25K, I'm going to use a big boy broker. And so, this is just a learning tool. And if I can build up this account, great. But like I said, I'm more focused on just getting into good trades. My gross profit is what I usually base everything off of, just because, when I'm using such small sizing, commissions are going to be a large percentage of any net profits I have. And so for that reason, it doesn't matter as much. It's not as relevant, I would say. Whereas, my gross profit is really showing if my winners on average are bigger than my losers without considering commissions. And so if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just worried about getting in good trades. And really how many green days in a row I have is just a test for me. I'm just trying to see, how well I can do. So TLRY imported their drugs to Europe. Okay, got it. Interesting. GLPG, Raymond. Let's look at GLPG. A little bit too expensive to me, and it looks like an acquisition of some sort, maybe a split. But yeah, go check out SnapTrade. Like I said, if you guys saw me, that's what I used to look up the news. But there's a lot of other really awesome free tools that SnapTrade offers, like news. It compares the stock with the Dow Jones. It allows me to look back on earnings, all these different catalysts, historical prices, price alerts, and stuff like that. And so, a really awesome free website. That's SnapTrade, SNAPTRADE.us. I'll go ahead and post the link here. There's the link to SnapTrade. Go check them out. Let me catch back up on the chat, guys. Sorry about that. I was going over the news. Yeah, Pac B is tradable. ARGX isn't tradable yet for sure. Hey, appreciate it, James. Let me check back up. I'm really happy you got I'm really glad you got your groove back, John. I remember how bummed you were on Friday. Wasn't around on Monday or yesterday. I hope you can hit that 10-day goal I mentioned on Friday. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not that worried about the 10-day goal. Honestly, if I can just have profitable weeks, gross profit weeks, and I'm using good risk to reward, and my cents per share gain is good, then I'll be happy, But I appreciate that, James. I appreciate the support, man. Appreciate the sub, Keenan. Welcome, brother. Appreciate it, man. I think the advice rule only applies to paid advice. Is that right? So anybody could say bet this as long as they don't charge for it. I'm not sure. I think it's more along the lines of telling people specifically to buy a stock. That's what I try to that's what I try not to do. And if I get close to that, I always try to tell people, like, look, like, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable for any losses you take. You have to make your own assessment of the market and trade responsibly. I'm more about teaching people how to trade and not telling people what stocks to buy or to trade. And besides, I mean, you can't just follow somebody. Like, if you're just trying to follow somebody's picks and you're just trying to copycat and piggyback off of somebody, you might as well just get a stockbroker and just use them, because that's essentially what you're doing. True independence. If you really want to be a good trader, you got to learn to identify the stocks yourself. You got to learn to trade the stocks yourself, because it's just not sustainable if you're just copying off of somebody. What's up, V Keys? Yeah, I'm watching MU as well. MU gapping down from 43.60 to 41.37. What's up, B Bauer? Good morning, man. Good morning, Felix. What's up, Mud Life? Good morning, Huguetes. Yeah, I got you, brother. I got the list early today, man. But yeah, we'll see what SSC does. Yeah, but I mean, with regard to like my sizing and like my win rate and stuff like that, like at this point, like it's definitely a profitable win rate. A large majority of the time, my losses are smaller than my winners. Last week was the one exception, and that's out of 6 weeks. I've all had net profit weeks. Last week was the first week that I've had a red week, and it was like a $14 down week, and so that's fine. Losing weeks are gonna happen. Anybody that pretends like they don't isn't being honest with people. But yeah, what's the most important thing to me is my gross profit, because as I scale up in my sizing, my gross profit will reflect my net profit will more accurately reflect my gross profit. But when I'm using small sizing, it's not as close. It doesn't mirror itself as much. And so, the gross profit's really what I'm looking at, because that's ultimately my potential. Because as I start using larger sizing, commissions aren't going to play as big of a factor, because the sizing is going to be bigger. And so the most important thing that I look at is my gross profits is the main thing I look at. All right, all right. So it's 8:18. Market's really slow. Watching SSC RENN. Let's look at GLPG. I wonder why this one's moving. It's too expensive for me though. Oh yeah. So and another thing is that I'm also slowly starting to use bigger sizing. And so if I have a losing week, or if I have a few losing days, that's fine, because I'm trying to up my sizing. And so naturally, when I'm using smaller sizing, if I'm using smaller sizing and I have a small gain, and then I use bigger sizing, and even if I have 3 gains using small sizing, but I have one big loss using larger sizing, that loss can be larger than those 3 gains. And so that's fine, and I have to understand that that's probably going to happen, and I'm going to start taking bigger losses, and that's fine, because I'm going to start taking bigger winners as well. And even if it doesn't happen right away, that's ultimately the goal. And so we'll see what happens. Sure, John Russell. Yeah, man. So, yeah, brother. So, just message me on Facebook or Twitter, John Russell, at Beginner Trades, and so it's at Beginner Trades. It's not Beginner Trading. It's Beginner Trades. Yeah, man. And I'll message you back. I'll even give you my WhatsApp number if you want to text me, man. And I'll do my best to help you, John. Yeah, it's kind of a gray area. I mean, a lot of people, the big thing that I don't want to do, not even for legal reasons, but I just don't want to do it because I don't think that's a sustainable way for traders to learn, is just to have traders piggyback off of my trades. I think traders have to be independent, and they have to learn to look at the setups and identify the setups themselves without necessarily just piggybacking off of me. And although I know it's tempting, especially if somebody's on like a green streak, to just kind of piggyback off of them, I don't think it's sustainable. I think it kind of sets them up to get scammed really easy. And so the only way to really trade is to be independent and find the setups yourself. What's up, D Zanu? Good morning, brother. What's up, Cole? Hey, appreciate it, Cole. All right, guys, 8:21. We got about 9 minutes left. Also, guys, yeah, I do also want to thank everybody that signed up to TradeNet through my link. Let's see. But yeah, like I said, I also want to thank everybody that signed up to TradeNet through my link. It's an awesome way to help support the channel, and so if you do want to help support us, you can go through my link, and I really appreciate it if you do. But yeah, the back to school sale is over. That gave you 20% off TradeNet packages. But if you go through my link, you can still get 20% off the intro package. And so instead of paying $500 for it, you can pay $399 for the intro package. And so it's a pretty decent deal. Like I said, we do make a small commission from it, but it's one of the ways we help support this channel, and we keep everything for free on my end. And so it's one of the ways we stream for free and upload videos for free and everything like that. And so if you want to help support this channel and you're interested in signing up to TradeNet, you can go through our link and help support this channel. We really appreciate it. I'll post this link here. 20% off the intro package right there. So if you're interested in signing up, there's the link. Appreciate the sub, Esha. Appreciate it. Yeah, splits, to be honest, splits still kind of confuse me. I know one time I was holding a stock, and it had a split, and it was, it went from like $1.30 to like $10.30, and I was holding like 100 shares or something, and I thought I made like a ton of money. When the reality was I actually lost like $10 on the trade because it was a split and it doesn't really count. And so I still have to learn splits a little bit more. What's up, Mr. Eric? Good morning, brother. What's up, man? All right, but yeah, I'll say it again though. Today, for me at least, is an account preservation day. Market's really slow, kind of choppy, a little dull here. Not that much moving here, not that much going on, and so you do want to make sure you protect your account today, guys. The volume's pretty low in this market, and so you don't want to you don't want to force anything today, at least in my opinion, just because the market's a little shady. Oh yeah, for sure, insurance. Yeah, one of the things I need to work on is actually holding it to my profit targets. One thing I do, and I don't think it's that bad of a thing, but I do think my gains would be much bigger. I think I think I have to learn to hold to my anticipated profit target, and so I think I cut them a little bit too short sometimes as well. And so I do think that hurts me. All right. But yeah, Manny, my computer seems to be running pretty well after you sent me that adapter, brother. So I appreciate that, Manny. And I'm loving the new monitor, Manny. So shout out to Manny. Manny sent me a new 22-inch monitor for my computer and a bunch of adapters and VGA adapters and stuff like that. That really helps kind of my setup over here. So shout out to Manny. Appreciate all the support, brother. It really means a lot, man. I'm really enjoying my third monitor over here. So yeah, again, shout out to Manny, man. That's awesome, brother. But yeah, so we'll see how today goes. We got 5 minutes. Watching RENN is probably one of my main watches. The reason RENN is one of my main watches is because it's up so much from yesterday. So I'm looking at it down to maybe the 170s, 160 area. See if it could fill some of this gap. But yeah, like I said, if you see here, I can actually put an order in for some of these stocks that aren't tradable. And so I'm kind of curious if it's actually going to let me trade them. I seriously doubt it will. But I am a little curious to see if it's going to let me trade some of these. I doubt it will, just because it says in under tradable. Let me know if you guys see anything else that kind of ran up today. I haven't seen anything that looks really good, so let me know. If you like the cheap penny stocks, DFFN has been running up. You can see gapping up some. It's one of those stocks that I just don't trade. It's just too cheap. I'm more of a short bias trader, and it actually is tradable. So DFFN is tradable on TEFs, but like I said, it's one of those things like I just don't trade stocks like this. I don't trade stocks this cheap. Just because I'm a short bias trader, I prefer to short stocks, and whenever it's a 50-cent stock, I think the potential of it breaking out is pretty high, and I also think it doesn't have enough room on the downside for DFFN. So yeah, I'm still looking at nothing really looks good. XXII, no. CYTX. ADOM. Yeah, nothing really looks good today, man. NXTD. No. Don't really see much I really like here. Just gonna have to stick to these four. You know, if it's your first time joining us, my strategy mostly revolves around shorting overextended stocks at the open, and so I'm looking for overextended gap ups as well as overextended stocks, from the previous few days. And so RENN definitely I would consider falls into that category. I don't know about PAC-B. It's not really overextended. It's up from 411 yesterday, but not really quite sure here. I'll keep an eye on it though. PLXP. Not quite. LYL. Yeah, I just don't see much, guys. It's pretty slow. SLCA looks okay. I'll keep an eye on this one too. SLCA. But we got 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes until the open. Remember, guys, the market's really slow and dull today, so just be careful. That's the best advice I can give right now. Right, exactly, insurance. Insurance says the guy that said you were begging for money didn't realize he was in a free chat. What is wrong with making money from referrals? It's a choice to buy in or not. Right, exactly, insurance. And the way I do it, like, I try to be honest with people about TradeNet and TEFs, like it's not like I'm, of course I enjoy using TradeNet and TEFs. They're probably one of my favorite brokers, but I am honest about the negative, the cons in TEFs and TradeNet. And the biggest one, in my opinion, and I'm always talking about it, and so I'm being honest with people, the biggest flaw is that a lot of stocks aren't tradable. Like today, FOMX isn't tradable. I'm pretty bummed out about it, and a few other ones. But market's opening up right now, guys, so good luck. All right, so here's the open. Let's get it today, guys. Let's do it. So GERN spiking up huge here. GERN is up to 628. Wow, crazy spike up here. 630s on GERN. Man, crazy move here for GERN, spiking up big. I did already cast. Scroll up in the chat. It should be up there, but I posted the watch list already, man. I don't think I have to go back and copy it, but the market's open, so I got to focus right now. MU pushing up. GERN is probably the biggest mover right now in this market. If you look at GERN, I mean, this thing just skyrocketed up here. Look at GERN. Up to 630s very, very quickly here. Oh yeah, let me see if I can trade FOMX. Let me see if it'll let me. I'm curious. Is it letting me trade FOMX here? No. It couldn't be. Could it? It said FOMX wasn't tradable. No, let's see. Let's see if it fills me on FOMX here. Let's do a market. I'm gonna buy like 50 shares though. No. Okay, it didn't let me trade. I got a little excited. I thought it may let me actually trade it. Watching RENN here for VWAP fade. If it bounces up to 2, I'll probably take this short on RENN. Kind of the same thing with SSC here. Yeah, so watching RENN and SSC. I'm gonna jump in with 100 shares right now on RENN. Plan to add another few hundred if it gets up there. There's 2. I'm gonna add another 200 here, so that's 300 shares of RENN. Kind of low volume, so I got to be careful here. SSC looks like a good fade too. It's right around there. SSC. SSE is right around that level, up to 203 here. Okay, it's a little laggy right now. I don't know if it's my computer or what's making it lag like this for RENN. But I'm about to get out now. If it breaks 203, I'm just going to jump out of this one. Ugh, that hurts. I'm out. $32 loss. Going forward here, trying to take bigger sizing. As I say that though, I'm going to try to jump in SSC really quickly here. Yeah, so I got out at the right time with REN and it faked me out. Going to try to let SSC here work. Maybe the biggest thing I probably did wrong with RENN is I probably should have waited for the volume to at least be decent. The volume was too low, I think, for RENN, if I'm looking back in hindsight. And honestly, I still don't really mind taking losses like this because, like I said, I'm trying to work my way up to larger sizing. And so bigger losses are going to happen. And that's just kind of how it is. With 300 shares, you know, a $30 loss is 10 cents. And so it's small in the grand scheme of things. Maybe today wasn't the best day to use bigger sizing just because the market's so dull right now. But, you know, it is what it is. And maybe I'll be done quick today. We'll see. Risk on SSC is right around 490s. It's a little spready though. Maybe I should set my risk at 96. Maybe I'll let it go there. Who knows? Yeah, for sure, man. That's the biggest thing is it may be today maybe wasn't the day, but I'm just trying to keep consistent sizing. And so, if I used 400 shares yesterday, I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable with it today, and we'll see how it works out. It's just a little slow. And so, if I take some losses today, I'll be all right. 92. Got to be careful here. This is kind of the crucial level for it. Big squeeze back down. I don't know if my Thinkorswim's lagging or if it's just the market's super slow. I can't tell which one. I do like this push. It gives me a very obvious risk area. We'll see. There's 95. I got to be really close here. 96, I'm out. It's just so spready right now. This is the only part that makes me nervous, is that it's spready. What is Gurn doing? I haven't even looked at Gurn. Yeah, there goes Gurn. Washing out some. I gotta be careful here. This one, SSC has low volume too. And so I do like this drop, but I'm just giving it that time. There's 85s. Market's just so choppy right now, man. At least SSC is, which is making me regret it a little bit. I do like this downward rejection underneath the VWAP. But it's just so choppy right now. There's back to 94s. And it's just so spready. I don't know if my thinkorswim's lagging or what. Yeah, look how choppy RENN though was. I mean, it looked like a good setup, but the volume is just too low. And so I think my mistake number one for RENN was the volume. Volume was just terrible. I gotta be careful here though. I don't like the way SSC is moving. I do like it if I set my risk at this level here, this 493, 494 level, but I do have to be careful here, especially with it starting to squeeze up. I could still comfortably set my risk at 496, but I have to follow that risk to a T. If it breaks it, I gotta get out because squeezing over 5 is a possibility. There's 94. Like I said, 96 is my risk. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have. I mean, the market was just so dull right now. It's just dull. And so, looking back in hindsight, I mean, I probably today wasn't the day to use bigger sizing, which is something I should understand. This is when I get really close to getting out here. Because if it's gonna break out, it's gonna be right around here, and so I gotta hold it tight right here. Hopefully, it's a double top and it gets washed out and rejected at that 496 level that I'm watching, but the ask is right at 495, and so I could see it getting squeezed up to the $5 level quick. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Eric. I did jump in way too early, man, with both of these. Specifically, RENN is one I jumped in a little bit too early. And this volume is just messing with me. I just don't like it. Just the way this thing's acting right now. Look at GERN though. GERN, I don't know. I might have to take GERN if it gets up to that 608 level. It depends on if I'm still in this trade or not. But at the same time, one of my rules is I can only trade twice, and so I might have to stick to my rule, even though I hate having the loss on the day. I might just have to stick to it. But GERN looks beautiful right now. All right, there's 92s. Spread's tightening up a little bit. Let's see if we get a rejection here. There's 90s. Yeah, for sure. Like honestly, it's really tempting to jump in GERN right here because it's like a perfect VWAP fade. But I got to follow my rules, and if there was any day that I shouldn't overtrade, and look at RENN. RENN eventually came back down, but if there was any day I shouldn't overtrade, it's today, just because the market is so slow and choppy right now. Oh, 100%. You're right. You're right, Eric, for sure, man. Spread's getting worse for SSC, which means no volume. There we go. Spread's cleaning out a little bit. 90. But GERN did look beautiful there, man. Right here. 605 would have been nice. But yeah, look how spready it is, though. Some slippage going on. A lot of upwicks, no volume. Oh, yeah, I am. SOG. That's what I'm doing, man. I mean, it's nicotine, though. It's not what you probably think it is. It's just nicotine. Ugh, what an ugly market right now, man. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, one of those rules is I can only trade twice a day, and I think it's a damn good rule. Just because if I don't limit myself, I'll keep trading, and I'll try to win back my losses, and I'll force trades. And so if I keep trading, it will severely hurt and cripple my account. And so the only thing I could really do is limit the amount of times I trade per day. Like that's it. Like that's the best thing I could do. And I understand myself. And so, when days like today happen, I have to limit myself. If I don't limit myself, I will just keep forcing trades over and over again until my whole account's gone. And I don't want that. I want to preserve my account. And so the best thing to do is just to limit the amount of trades I get myself into. And the best number for that is 2 trades per day for me. All right, there's 87. Um, Another thing though that people may be saying, well, you took a bunch of small gains earlier, and like the biggest thing is that yesterday I decided to just work on just improving my sizing. Like I have to use bigger sizing. If I don't use larger sizing, I'm never gonna take good gains out of the market, especially when I'm hot like I am now. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I've been doing really well trading, and so if I don't start using larger sizing, I'm never gonna take some bigger gains out of the market. And so, like I said earlier, my losses are going to be bigger since I decided to use bigger sizing yesterday. And so, yeah, I had a few small gains on the week, but ultimately, I'm looking to get bigger sizing in here. I'm looking to take some larger positions and ultimately take some bigger trades because that's what's ultimately going to help me turn it around and actually make some money. If I don't, I'm always just going to be using 100 shares, making 15 bucks a day, not really, making any money here. And that's not my goal. My goal is to, make some money trading. But at this point, SSC is just a chop fest. All right, Tony, have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Exactly, Jay. Yeah, the East Coast is getting hit right now, and so, because of that, the market's pretty dull and slow. Just a terrible market. One thing I did call out GERN here, up at 604. It's down about 10 cents from there, so, maybe GERN would have worked out for me, but I can't look back on hindsight. 475 is a tough level for SSC though. It's a really tough level. It had a big green day, or it had a big red day yesterday. And so that 475 level is tough for this one. Yeah, exactly, Alex. That's what frustrated me this morning, man. MU kind of looks like a VWAP projection. SLCA had a beautiful VWAP fade today if I'm looking at some of these. SLCA, look at this fade on SLCA. I really wish I would have saw this right here. Would have been, it was fading off the VWAP nicely, so yeah, it still applies track racer because regardless of if I'm profitable on the day or if it's a losing day, the two trade rule still matters because even if I'm profitable on the day, I'll give back my gains if I keep trading, And so the only thing I can do is just limit the amount of trades I take, because if not, I'll just give back my profits. And so I have to focus on being disciplined and just giving myself a tight leash and not letting myself overtrade. I think that's the biggest thing that new traders do wrong is that they force trades, and they just keep trading until their account's gone. Look at SLCA though, man. That's the one I missed. I wish I would have taken. Here was a beautiful fade right here. But I think I'm also getting a little bit better at handling my losses, and I'm starting to kind of understand that losing days are going to happen. And if I stick with using consistent sizing and I continue to use bigger sizing, then my green days will happen as well. And so I just have to understand that, and I'm getting a little bit better at handling the losing days. I used to hate losing, and I still don't like losing. Obviously, I don't think anybody does. But I am getting better at handling my losses, and so I think that's important as well in trading. All right, so we're down to 85. I mean, I'm sticking to it for the inevitable, or for the, for however long it takes, man. I'm just sticking with it. It's what I do best. It's what makes it. It's what I do the best in trading. It's what benefits me the most, I think. And so I'm sticking with it as long as I need to. I have a few rules. One of them is the 2 trades a day. The other one is that if I have a losing trade on the day, the next trade I actually have to use smaller sizing. No matter how tempting it is to use large sizing to try to win back my losses, if I have a losing trade on the day, my next trade needs to be smaller. Because if not, I'm gonna try to the whole my whole rule my all my rules revolve around me not over trading and not forcing trades and not letting my emotions get the best of me. That's what my rules are all about. And so that's why I can only trade twice a day. If not, I'm going to over trade. I have to use smaller sizing if I take a loss. If not, I'm going to use huge sizing and try to win back my losses, and it's never going to work. And so, my rules all revolve around limiting my emotions and not letting my emotions hurt me, and it's all based off of past experience. I know myself well enough to know if I don't limit myself to 2 trades, I'm going to force trades. I'm going to try to win back my losses, and it's not going to be fun, and it's going to be super frustrating, and it's going to kill my confidence. And so the best thing I can really do is use small sizing, take it slow, and, if I have a losing trade, use smaller sizing, and just so forth and so on until I build up a large enough cushion to where it really doesn't matter. Yeah, for sure. GERN. I mean, GERN has been fading nicely every day. I know Mitch. I know Mitch had a losing day when he was on the stream yesterday, but Mitch actually came back and had a really nice profitable trade. He made $200 on another trade yesterday. I don't know if anybody caught Mitch's stream, but but yeah, Mitch actually had a really nice trade on GERN. GERN. A massive stock market bubble, greatest crash in history will occur soon. Maybe, man. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see about that. I don't know. I hope that's not true. What? Oh my gosh, man. Are you serious right now? All right, I'm out. That was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So that was pretty frustrating. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but that was absolutely ridiculous. That was like worst case scenario really quick. Man, that was terrible, man. How does this happen? That thing squeezes up 40 cents in like 3 seconds. Crazy, man. Hey, it's fun. Lesson learned today, guys. Lesson learned today. Oh, man. Still green in the last month, but man, that was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Worst case scenario here. The lesson to take from this loss today, guys, is don't trade low volume stocks. Biggest lesson here, because with low volume stocks, they can get squeezed up like they just did. But not gonna let it phase me. I've been having really good results the last 2 months, and so, but this is kind of Murphy's Law here. It's like I have green day after green day after green day, and then when I'm finally impatient enough to be like, look, I've had profitable day after profitable day. I'm going to use bigger sizing now because my results have shown that I should be able to do that. This thing just gets squeezed up to heck, and I take the biggest loss I've taken in months. And so I don't know, man. It just happens like that. I think the biggest thing is that I have to start using bigger sizing on Monday. Wednesdays historically have been terrible for me. And so, I mean, no, I'm not really that sad. Of course, I'm bummed out it was a losing trade. But at the same time, like, to be honest, I'm just going to get another intro account, and that's fine. Like, I'll just get another intro account, and Monday of next week is when I need to start using bigger sizing. But, man, I don't know if anybody saw that squeeze up, but, man. I trade the VWAP fade, James Taylor. The trade I usually trade is the VWAP fade, and it's basically I mean, here's kind of one here on Gurn. I look for a bearish trend. I look for a bearish trend like this, and then I look for a reversal back up to VWAP, and I get in here setting the next support level as my risk. In this case, it would be 610, and then I set the low of the day as my reward. So from here to here, it would be 8 cents. From 604 to 586 would be better than 2-to-1 risk to reward. Yeah, Mitch's trade was good yesterday. But yeah, guys, today wasn't my day in the market. And yeah, it's been a while since I took a $78 loss. I mean, that's pretty big for my standards, at least. But I think the big thing here, guys, is that I just have to really, I was setting this 496 level as my risk, but this is just low volume. And so the key here, and if you can learn anything from my loss today, it is to not jump in low volume stocks. And if the stock market is this slow, specifically like SSC was today, that's the day you don't want to trade. Like I said before the stream, and I didn't even follow my advice, is that today should have been account preservation day. And so with that being said, I should have used small sizing, instead of going for it with 3 and 400 shares. But lesson learned, Wednesdays are terrible. Oh, James, that's what happened. Why would they drop the news after the open though? That doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, so I got caught in a news release on SSC, and so there was nothing I could really do. It was looking good for a while, honestly. Like, it was looking good. It got almost down to 480. I was up in the trade. It got all the way down to here, and then it just squeezed up, and so news just dropped. That's what happened. I got caught in the news. Minus 78 Netron. I lost 78 today, man. And yeah, I've been using bigger sizing. And like I said, this is something that really kind of happens a lot on this stream, is that I'll have green day after green day. A large majority of the stream will be silent. They'll never say anything. And then as soon as I have a losing day, they'll say, well, what was your strategy in that trade? Or why did you take that trade? That was a terrible trade. You're a bad trader. And it's like, well, really? I'm a bad trader. How did I have 8 green days in a row up to today? How did I have averaging one losing day a week in the last month and a half? And then the 2 days I decide to use bigger sizing and I take a bigger loss. That's when the criticism comes out. I just think it's funny, but honestly, here's the thing. Like, I make enough from this YouTube channel and from this business to buy a new intro account. And so that's fine. And then my goal is honestly to start taking some larger gains out of the market, even if I take a few losing trades at first. Because that's kind of been the pattern, is that the pattern has been green day, green day, green day. Okay, I'm going to use bigger sizing, and then big red day. And then I say, okay, well, I tried using bigger sizing. It didn't work. Now I'm going to go back to small sizing. I'm Ethernet right now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's okay. Like, here's the thing. You might look at this week and say, okay, well, he had 2 green days this week, but his 1 loss on the week was substantially larger than his 2 green days. And yes, that's true. That's accurate, and that's an understandable statement. But what you really have to understand is that I started to use larger sizing yesterday. And so while yesterday I got out for basically a break-even day with the sizing I was using, today it didn't work so well, you know. Today it didn't quite work out that way. And so, you know, at the same time, I'm using bigger sizing. I'm sure I'll take larger gains out of the market, you know, in the next few weeks. And today it's just kind of a speed bump, which is fine, you know. Yeah, for sure, man. That's what, honestly, that's kind of the problem I have is that exactly insurance, you know. Adelie, get out of here, man. Yeah, it's not a bad loss. Right. Once I get used to the sizing, the gains will be much bigger. And you know, honestly, a $78 loss in the grand scheme of things in the trading world is a pretty small loss. You know what I mean? In all honesty, and so, you know, that's the biggest thing is that I just have to focus on not forcing trades. I think you know, I had my 2 losses on the day, and so I should just be done. I just don't want to force anything at this point. If I do take a trade, it's going to be on SCLA with some tiny sizing. And I might actually do that. But it's going to be super small sizing, like maybe 100 shares. Maybe 75 shares would be reasonable. All right, so I'm in with 75 shares on SCLA. And I'm going to try to get in with the VWAP fade. Risk area is at 80 is my risk, which I think is reasonable. 80, 81. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, man, that's what it is, James. The news came out. I wasn't expecting the news release. It looked good while I was in there. But honestly, guys, if I'm being completely honest with myself, I think I'm forcing a trade here on SLCA. And I broke my rule here. That's the key thing. I probably shouldn't be in this SLCA trade. But it's so tempting, and this is the problem. I don't want to exit now. I'm going to let it work. But it's so tempting to just force trades and just try to win back your initial losses. And so we'll see. Hopefully it works out for me. But I'm a little nervous in this trade, even though it's working out for me at this point. And so we'll see how it goes. But probably shouldn't have taken this trade. As I look back, though, on SSC and RENN, they were just so low in volume. They were so terrible in volume that's ultimately what my mistake was. Well, James. Exactly, Garrett. Whatever sizing I use, I just have to be consistent in that sizing. Because if I'm not consistent, all my gains are going to be mixed. And some gains are going to be larger, some gains are going to be smaller. A lot of it also depends on the range of the stock. You know, so like if the stock has a larger range, obviously I can't use 300 shares if the stock's range is $2 or $3, because that could completely make me lose my account, you know. And so obviously, you know, I have to pay attention to the range of the stock, and that is something I need to take into consideration. But yeah, this is the VWAP fade right here. What I just did on SLCA, James. You see it pulled back to the VWAP. I got in going short. Plan is to take a partial at the low of the day. At this point, I think I got a pretty good entry on this point, and so I can get out for break even on this trade if it does go back. Exactly, V keys. Yeah, I'm breaking my rules at this point. But I'm already in the trade. It just honestly, it just looked like a really pretty setup on SLCA. And Mitch talks about whenever you see the setup, even if you have the rules, if you see the setup, you see the setup, and SLCA was the setup. All right, there's 46. So typically I take a partial at the low of the day. I don't think my sizing's big enough for that at this point. And I think it may bounce here. So goal is let it test these lows and break it down to 20s. But we'll see. But yeah, my computer's running slow as well. That's something I noticed with SSC, is that my computer's just kind of slow. Thinkorswim is lagging a little bit. Yeah, I have a Discord. Hold on, man. I'm in a trade right now, Zeus. Calm down, brother. If I'm in a trade, I can't really focus on the chat that much. I'm trying to manage the trade. So I'll get it. I'll get you in a second, man. The dumb thing is, like, if I look back on SSC, I should not have been trading that stock. Look at the volume on this thing, man. Look how choppy and crazy this thing's moving. That was my mistake, was getting in SSC in the first place. I think RENN looked pretty terrible too. So yeah, I'm gonna set my risk or my risk at break even at this point in SLCA. I got a good entry. Didn't take big enough sizing, but like I said, if I have losing trades, especially if I have a few losing trades, my next trades are smaller sizing. Just because, as you can see, I consecutively used smaller sizing after each trade, and so I do think that's probably the best way to approach it. Run is running. Yeah, let me check out Run. Yeah, Run is going up some. It's kind of a slow, gradual push, though, so it's kind of hard to read. I just don't want to get caught in that pullback after that big run. All right, so we're up to 55s. Like I said, break even is when I'm going to exit this trade. Yeah, I don't think the market realizes it's supposed to be open either right now, man. Hold on, I see a lot of questions in the chat, so just give me a second, guys. Let me manage this trade real quick, and I'll do my best to answer them once I'm done. if I'm being reasonable with this trade, I think exit should be at 1075. What's my entry? 2063. Not the best entry there. Here. Yeah, it's getting kind of close to there. We'll see. $58, $59. Gonna get close to exiting here if it starts to move up. Trying to stay patient in this trade. I don't know if I should set a stop loss at break even and just forget about it and just let it work, see if it turns into an all-day fader or what, but oh man, I do think I'm getting better at managing my losses. I think of course I got frustrated for the $75 squeeze up there, but I do think I'm getting a little bit better at managing those losses and handling them a little bit better. In the grand scheme of things, people and myself need to realize that these TEFs and TradeNet accounts, they're for simply learning. And so regardless of what happens to them, the point is to learn. And I think my goal has definitely been met with that. I'll show my P&L from the last few months in a second to show you guys why I started to use bigger sizing yesterday. Just so people can understand that, like, yeah, I took a $75 loss today. But ultimately, yesterday was kind of the day where I was like, enough's enough. I have to use bigger sizing, and bigger losses in turn are going to happen. And I've built myself enough of a cushion from where my previous lows were in this account in the last month to where I'm still up net in the last month or so on this account. And so, you know, the ultimate goal is to build these accounts up, but more importantly, just learn to manage the trades better, learn to use bigger sizing in general. And part of that is learning to handle bigger losses when it comes to the larger sizing. Because if I can't handle bigger losses, you know, I'm going to be too emotional in the trades. Yeah, you're live, insurance. Hey, like I said, I'm gonna catch back up on the chat once I'm out of the trades, guys. So, give me a second. Once I'm out of this trade, depending on what it does, you know, that's when I'll catch back up on the chat. You know, but I'm just trying to manage this trade at this point. You know, to let it work and try to, you know, let this trade work first. And then I'll catch back up on the chat. So I know a lot of people are probably asking me questions and talking to me. So just give me a second, guys. I'll catch back up. I see you, insurance. You're not in an old chat, man. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and honestly, if I would have used larger sizing in this trade, I would have probably exited the trade by now. It's about to get up to 60. If it starts to break 60 here, I'm just going to jump out for break even on this last one. So it keeps bouncing off of the $half. Trying to give it time, but no way, Arian's World. Sorry, Bella. No, what I mean is I'm going to get another account once this one's gone. I'm not going to open up two at once. Once this one's done, I'll open up another account is my point. Is that, once this one's over with, that's when I'll open up another account. I'm not going to give this account to anybody. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Arian. Yeah, sure, Osborne. Give me a second, man. Let me get out of this trade, and then we'll talk about some stuff. So just give me a second. Trying to manage this trade. My entry is 2063, and so I'm trying to get out for break even if it does push up. And so I just kind of got to focus here, just because it's about 10 cents away from my initial entry, and so I don't want to let this snowball into a losing trade. And so I'm just trying to focus on it and just pay attention. Just because SSC squeezed me up really high here. This is the bounce I got caught in that caused this big loss today, is this bounce right here. Look at this bounce, just sketchy. But no volume stocks are going to do that. Stocks with no volume, especially on days like today, are going to do that. And so, I got to understand that. Sorry, insurance. I didn't realize that, man. Yeah, I kind of just glance at the chat. I'm more focused on this trade, and so I kind of just glance at the chat. So it's hard to tell sarcasm with on a chat in a chat room. All right, there's 58. $60. This is where I got to be really careful. Break 63, I'm out. The frustrating thing is if you look at SSC, it's all the way back down to where it was before it squeezed me out. And so low volume stocks, man. This is what low volume stocks do. Lesson learned. They say you learn more from your losses. I can definitely vouch for that today. I've seen a few people try the trade net challenge, Corey. I haven't seen anybody. Oh no, somebody did mention that they actually did the trade net challenge in the stream. Somebody mentioned they did do it in the stream. I forgot who though, so maybe ask. Yeah, let me know if you've actually done the trade net challenge and been successful. I know somebody did. I can't remember who it was. I feel like somebody needs to key the Jeopardy music as I'm sitting in LSCA here. I'm just going to set my stop here at 2064 or 2065 for a $1.50 loss. Alright, so now I can focus back up at the chat. I'm just going to let this one do whatever it wants to do. So let me catch back up on the chat. Yeah, Ricky. FOMX wasn't tradable. It's frustrating for sure. Wait, did it jump me out of the trade already? No, not yet. So anyways. No, not necessarily, Manny. So like really like my goal is so like look, if I pull up my P&L from the last few months on TEFs, right? My P&L's actually been really good, and that's what ultimately caused me to move up in sizing. Let's see. So if you look at my P&L from the past few weeks, it's been pretty legit for the last few weeks. You can see out of 19 total trades, I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times out of 19 in the last few weeks. And so 13 out of 19 were profitable. And so yeah, 68% accuracy rate in the last few weeks. And that's ultimately what caused me to move up in sizing, just because, my trading has been so on point the last few weeks. And like I said earlier, with bigger sizing, bigger losses are going to happen, and I need to just be expecting that. I can't move up in sizing and then get upset about a $50 or $60 or $70 loss, because those are ultimately going to happen with the bigger sizing. But considering my profit and loss from the last few weeks, I still think that although initially the few losses may be bigger, I've built up a big enough cushion to actually take those shots now. And at this point, it's just about getting comfortable using larger sizing. Like for instance, 400 shares. That's really what I'm going at. I'd like to get up to 500 and just be comfortable using that, and then just kind of rinse and repeat until I build a big enough cushion on my account. But I'm really happy with how my trading has been. Like I said, if you look at the last few weeks, 19 total trades, 14 have been profitable, or 13 out of 19 have been profitable. My losses are on average bigger than my losses on average are smaller than my winners as well. So my winners are bigger than my losses, and so I've been using better risk to reward as well. And I would still technically be up in the last few weeks, even after today's trades. And so, this is what ultimately caused me to move up in sizing yesterday. I've been talking about it for a long time, for months. I've been talking about moving up in sizing, and I just finally got tired of using small sizing yesterday and decided to use bigger sizing. And so, like I said, bigger losses are going to happen. And so at this point, it's just about getting comfortable with those bigger losses. You know what I mean? And if I can get comfortable using, with those losses, then I think I'm golden as a trader. I just have to get used to it. I know my strategy works. I've back tested the strategy. I think today I just got a little impatient, and I think today was a very low volume day, just a slow, dull, boring day, and I don't think I should have been trading as much as I did, or with that big of sizing. So how am I hedging with a small float? So I just had hard stops, and I try to analyze the risk to reward. SSC in this situation is kind of an outlier because, let's be honest, rarely will a stock ever kind of go crazy like this, and news usually doesn't come out in the middle of the market day while people are in positions. And so I think that kind of backfired on me, and it was kind of like the worst case scenario for SSC. But, like I said, it's something I'm still getting used to. I'm not trying to claim to be an expert trader. I'm still a pretty new trader, actually. But I've been showing consistent gains for months now. And so it's just about focusing on that and trying to, take my shot as a trader, slowly move up in sizing. And, if I have to, I know I have an edge in the market at this point. I've back tested the strategies I use. And so I know I have an edge, and it's just about implementing larger sizing, getting comfortable with that bigger sizing to take bigger risk, which is ultimately what traders should ultimately work for once they're consistently profitable traders. Which you can see my P&L. I have been consistently profitable for months now, and so it's just about using bigger sizing. And so yeah, it's hold on. Yeah, I might have to reset everything as well, insurance. But yeah, lessons from today. If you could take anything from my losses today, it's number one, on days like today when the volume is this terrible, don't take bigger risks. Like that's the thing. Like I had it in my head that I was going to use bigger sizing yesterday, and yesterday it ended up working out. But ultimately, I have to follow my risk levels, and you know, if I take a few losses, that's fine because ultimately I know in the last 2 months I've definitely shown that I'm a consistently profitable trader. And so at this point, it's just about getting comfortable enough to use bigger sizing and, being comfortable in the trades. Because at this point, I'm using larger sizing, yes, but I don't think my comfortable level is where it should be. I think my comfort level is out. So there, I just got stopped out of SLCA, and I'm happy with that. I took a $3 loss on that trade. That's fine. And I'm definitely done for the day, guys. But like I said, if you look at my profit and loss from the last few weeks, it's been legit on point. And some people are going to say, well, yeah, today's loss is going to overcompensate for it. And that's true. But like I said, yesterday is the day I decided to use bigger sizing. And so I need to expect bigger losses with that. But I also need to expect bigger winners, especially if I'm holding it to my profit target. And so that's kind of where I'm at as a trader. And we'll see how it goes, man. No problem, James. I've been trading for about a year regularly. Trading psychology, Osborne, is just about you want to be a robot in the trade. You don't want to be too super excited or super nervous in the trade, and that's what I'm working on at this point. You want to be able to think as clearly as possible, and you want to use. Actually, I think I actually exited SLCA wrong. I think I should have exited right around here at the 2070s because that's where the next resistance level was. And so if it breaks this resistance level, that's when I should have exited the trade. I'm kind of just done for the day though. I'm not feeling it today. And it's Wednesday, but I think trading psychology is important. I think you want to be able to think as clearly as possible. And I think you have to understand, like I give myself 2 losing trades or 2 trades per day. And the reason I give myself those 2 trades is because if I don't set that rule for myself where I can only trade twice, I'll force trades. And a lot of the time it'll just snowball. And so for instance, you take a loss on the day and then you take another trade and it's a losing trade. And so your losses are much bigger. And so then, most new traders will sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm already down so much on the day. I'm just going to take one more trade. And then that's a losing trade as well. And so they'll say, well, I'm already down hundreds of dollars. Let me just take one more trade. And then that's a losing trade as well. And so before you know it, you lose your account and it's all gone. And then most of the time people say, well, trading's rigged. It's impossible to actually be profitable. Where it's like, if you look at my profit and loss from the last 2 months, it's possible to be it's possible to be a profitable trader. You know what I mean? It definitely is possible. I've been profitable for the last 2 months now. And I've just tried to use bigger sizing yesterday and today, and it's a process. You gotta, you'll go through these stages where you're using small sizing, you show consistent gains, you try to move up, you take larger losses, you go back down to small sizing, show consistent gains again, move back up, and so forth and so on. And so you just gotta slowly scale your way up and try to handle your emotions. All right, who get this? Have a good one, brother. Oh yeah, for sure. The VWAP is legit, man. Yeah, exactly, Fritzy, man. People do wing it, bro. It happens, James. It happens. It happens, James Wachowski. It happens, brother. Like losing days are gonna happen. Losing trades are gonna happen. I can't expect to just be green day after green day because let's be honest, trading's not really like that. Most profitable traders have something like 1 or 2 losing days a week, but their winning trades overcompensate for those few losing days, and that's what I've been showing the last few months. Like if you look at my profit and loss, like that's really what I've been showing for the last few months. If you look at Last week was my first losing week in months, but if you look at the end of August, let's see, the end of August, here was the 27th through the 31st. I had 2 losing trades this week out of 7. So 2 out of 7 losing trades, 5 out of 7 were profitable, and my winners were much bigger than my losers. If you look at the week before that, the 17th through the 21st. Oh wait, this is wrong. Yeah, the 17th, or no, the 20th through the 24th. Same thing, 8 trades total, 2 losing trades out of 8. And so 6 out of 8 were profitable. My winners were bigger than my losses as well. And so the week before that, let's see, it was the 13th through the 17th. 1 losing trade. My winners are bigger than my losses as well out of 4. So 3 out of 4 profitable days. And so this is what ultimately has been my path the last few months, is that I've been doing extremely well, extremely well. I think the mistake I made today, and mistakes are going to happen. Nobody's perfect. I think the thing I did wrong today was I traded too much. I got a little bit too risky with bigger share size on a low volume day like Wednesday. And so that's what ultimately hurt me. But at this point, I'm confident enough in my trading. To where it doesn't really matter that much. Like, I know, yes, I had a losing day today, but if I consistently use larger sizing and stay disciplined, my winnings are going to compensate for those losing trades. And so that's fine. $78 loss today, a little bit larger than I usually do. But like I said, I've been net profit week after week for the last 2 months now. Really started focusing on good risk to reward trades, and I think I strayed a little bit from that today. But yeah, you can see this. Look at this move on SSC. This is what ultimately caught me and made my loss big today. Is this big move here? Look at this push up. And it was looking good until then. They dropped some news. There's nothing I can really do about that, except just not get in this trade in the first place. I think that's the problem, was that I jumped in this trade when I shouldn't have. What was the other trade from today? RENN. And then RENN was just super sketchy as well, just low volume. It looked good originally, but just low volume. And this is the biggest thing, is that the stock has to have good volume for my strategy to work. And so, I think I got a little bit too confident in my trading and thought I could take some low volume trades and it would work out. And the market humbled me a little bit, which is necessary in times like this. And so I guarantee tomorrow I'm going to be a lot more disciplined for sure. My criteria for Watchlist, like really what I ultimately look for with this setup and what's ultimately helped me build this account up and have so many, and have such a good few months in the last 2 months, is I look for overextended gap ups is usually what I look for. Like a good example of it would be FOMX here. Like if you look at FOMX, this is kind of what my strategy revolves around. It's a big overextended gap. A big overextended gap, and I just look for it to fill the gap on the way down and fade off of the VWAP. And this one didn't quite do that. It didn't quite fade off the VWAP here. Maybe you could consider that a fade. But this is what I look for. I look for gap fill strategies, and I look for overextended gap ups, and then I try to profit from those overextensions and take advantage of it. Usually the ideal VWAP fade, which is the only setup I really trade. But the ideal setup would be overextended gap up, preferably on no catalyst. So it's really overextended for zero catalyst. And then a big bearish trend at the open, like a really big bearish trend, and then a pullback to the VWAP and shorting it at the VWAP. That's really what I look for. And then I plan to take a partial at the low. And so that's kind of that's the A+ setup. There's other variations of it, but that's really the main setup that I look for. Yeah, he's I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, Silver. It's best to ask Tafs and TradeNet. Speaking on that, if anybody's interested in signing up to TradeNet, I do have a link that will get you 10% off any TradeNet, or 20% off the intro package. I do make a small commission from it, but if you want to help support this channel, you can go through our link, and I'll go post the link here. But like I said, the biggest flaw with TradeNet and TEFs is that some stocks aren't tradable. Like FOMX wasn't tradable today. And so, that's the biggest flaw with TEFs and TradeNet, is that some stocks are just not tradable. And specifically, lower priced penny stocks are oftentimes not tradable, like stocks under $1. For me, it doesn't matter too much. I don't really like trading over cheap penny stocks. Usually I like to trade stocks in between $2 and $30. But if you like trading penny stocks, it's probably not the best broker for you. But for me, it's kind of like the perfect storm. There's lots of shorts available. Anything that's actually tradable on TEFs, I can actually short. And so a lot of shorts, cheap commissions, and a decent platform, quick fills. It's kind of the perfect broker for me, but it may not be for you. So you do want to understand that stuff before signing up. But there's the link. If you go through my link, I make a small commission from it, but it does get you 20% off the intro package. And so instead of paying $500, you're going to pay $399 if you go through my link. And it's a great way to help support this channel. I try to be honest with people about it still, though. I'm not trying to rip people off. I'm just trying to be honest with people about trading, because I think new traders especially need honesty, and they don't need a bunch of gimmicks and stuff like that. And so I try to be honest with people. But if you want to help support the channel, you can go through the link. I just posted that in the chat. Exactly, man. Insurance. Exactly. Low volume means a lot of the likelihood of manipulation is up there. And so that's the biggest mistake I made today. Honestly, I used to have a rule my rule was that I can't trade on Wednesdays. At least I can't trade more than once on Wednesday specifically. Yeah, no worries, Abu. Honestly, I'm getting better at handling my losses. It's not that big of a deal. I think a lot of times, I think this YouTube channel has been growing, at a pretty consistent rate, and the channel's been getting bigger and bigger. And I think when you're doing something that other people wanted to do but didn't, they never took action with it, I think you get a lot of haters from insecure people. And I think insecure people are typically just kind of desperate to put others down and to make people feel bad. And it all comes from insecurity within themselves. And so I think, I've been getting a lot of haters on this channel, and it's something I have to learn to deal with as well. Just because I think, like I said, I think Gary Vee said, when you're doing anything great, people are going to hate on you. And so, I think that's life in general. And so, no worries, we'll keep it going tomorrow. Last 2 weeks, I'm still up net profit, so I'm happy with that. And I just got to focus on, the last 2 months, I'm still up net profit. And so, just got to try to build this account up. I'm using larger sizing now, so bigger losses are going to happen, but bigger winners are going to happen as well. And at this point, it's just about focusing and staying disciplined, ignoring the low volume plays, not getting too confident in myself, and trying to stay disciplined in the trades. And if I think I do that, I think I'll do well. And I have been doing well for the last 2 months, so I appreciate all the support. Somebody asked me for my Discord. Also, go check out Snaptrade. That's snaptrade.us. They did sponsor this stream. It's Snaptrade. It's a really awesome free website for traders to take advantage of. I share my watch list with a decent amount of people here each morning. And so if you want my watch list shared with you, sign up to Snaptrade. Send me your username or email. I'll add you to this list. But, I do post my list on Twitter as well. But yeah, Snaptrade, really awesome free website. There's also a free scanner and a discovery tool top list. So depending on whichever sector you're interested in, they have a section for you. So go check them out. And yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the stream down now. Like I said, if you're interested in 20% off TradeNet packages, you can go through my link. And I'll go post that link real quick here as well. Here's my TradeNet link. And I'll go ahead and post... Alrighty, Mr. Markham, I'll see you later, man. And so, yeah, I also post the link to Snaptrade if anybody wants to sign up to Snaptrade and have my watch list shared with you. They did sponsor today's video. And so if you want to help support this channel, you can go up, sign up to Snaptrade, and I'll post that link here now. There's the link to Snaptrade, so go check them out. Sorry I wasn't able to get to everybody's questions in here. I know I've been getting a lot of